Hi guys, welcome. Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, I want to just tell you all that if you've requested a private with me or even spell work or anything like that, any video that I have to do, for some crazy reason, it's taking a long time for them to upload. I don't know if it's my phone. I don't know if it's YouTube. I kind of have a feeling that it's YouTube because last week one of my friends told me that he wasn't seeing any of my videos until the next day. Like it was showing in his newsfeed for the next day. But I asked another one of my friends and he said that he could see them immediately and I could see them immediately. So I feel like it's a YouTube thing. But regardless, if you've ordered a private with me and you've been waiting, it's because they're uploading. And it's like, it seems to be that they're uploading overnight. Anyway, so moving forward. I spoke to one of my friends today who he just was checking in to see how we were doing, and he said that he was waiting for me to make a video like this. And so I figured today was the day to do it. Anyhow, so his question was, like, why haven't you made a video on what you think is going on in the world? And I said, I've been talking about it a little bit on my live streams, but unless you're in the live stream for the whole thing, I don't expect anybody to sit and watch an hour-long video of questions and answers because, like, why would you? If you're not getting a question answered, why would you want to watch it? So he hasn't seen it, which is fine. So basically what I'm thinking, well, first I wanted to start off with, let's start off with what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a couple of things. First of all, this is a very strange time for everybody because we've never lived through something like this. None of us have. And yeah, there was the, what was it, the Spanish flu that 100 years ago. They say it happens every 100 years. But we've had things like SARS and MERS and that kind of stuff since. Let me take her out here. I think she can only stay in this thing for so long before she gets tired. Come here, baby. All right. All right, big girl. So this is something strange that none of us have ever lived through. And to me, what the heck is that? Oh my God. What I think, my interpretation of what's happening, like on a universal thing, and you've heard me say it if you've been in the live streams, is that I really feel like we're moving into a time where things are changing. Things have been changing. Like there are more people working from home. I mean, I would be teaching like a yoga class at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and there would be so many people that would come in and be like, I'm working from home. I have to keep my phone on just so it looks like I'm working. And I would think that that's hysterical. But if you have the option to do that, I think that that's great because if you can get all your work done and work the hours that you want to work, when you want to work them, and still make your salary, and you don't have to make a commute, I mean, I just think that there's benefits for everything, all over. I think we're moving into a time where good is finally starting to overpower evil. And I think it's happening on a personal scale, like in our own lives personally, but I think it's also happening in the world around us. So I think a lot of things that have not been working for a long time are going to go away. And this is the time, when you can't go out and you can't, a lot of times we do things that sort of, it's kind of like a Band-Aid, right? So instead of working on the issue at hand, like we'll go out and do something. Like instead of sitting at home and working on manifestation or doing something that you want to do or, writing out something, you go out with your friends and you just kind of get lost in whatever. You go out to dinner or you walk around the mall, whatever it is. But now we're forced to stay home. So if there's something that you want to do, there is nothing standing in your way now. Figure out how to do it. you don't have to go back to the way things were. And I think a lot of us aren't going to. I think things are changing. I think that with people doing things online, I think that the fitness industry is going to change, I think. But I don't think that it's going to be in a bad way. Like, I don't think that places are going to go out of business if the business is ethical. You know what I mean? Like, I think those that are going to succeed are those people that are trying to be good people, helpful to people, and have a real mission. I think that the people that are going to fail are going to be the people that are smoke and mirrors. So, for example, let's just say, for example, I owned a yoga studio, but I was full of shit, right? I just really wanted to make money, and I would sell you a bag of dust and tell you that it's, holy sand from when Jesus died. I don't think that my business would make it in this time. But I think that the yoga studio that is legit, like they believe what they're doing and they have a mission and they're helping people and people are finding comfort and self-acceptance and so on and so forth, I think that studio will survive. And I don't just mean yoga, I mean everything. I think that the people that are shystering and unethical will suffer. And I think that the people that are legitimate are going to prosper. And I don't care so much about what's going on in day-to-day life. I still think that there's going to be a way for people to make it. And I don't believe that this is limited to New York State, the United States. I think that this is a universal thing. I think we're moving into a different time. I think if you're in a relationship with somebody, I don't care what the relationship is, if it's unhealthy, if it's toxic, if it's destructive, if you're being abused, it's going to end. I think that if you're in a relationship that is loving, successful, supportive, I think those are going to flourish. I think we're moving into a different time. I just don't think we're going back to things were. I don't think we're going to go like that and go back to work Monday morning and everything is going to be the way it was. I think that this has changed life as we know it, but for the better. So if you can, and hey, listen, I had lost 2 jobs in my day that were, it was a big deal, especially when I lost the A&P job. It was a huge deal. It wasn't something that, that one really hit me right in the gut because not to mention that I grew up working there. I mean, I literally grew up, I started working there before I could drive a car. But all of that emotional stuff aside, it paid my mortgage. So I really took a huge hit when I lost that job. So I'm not making light of anybody losing their job or anyone that's, I know a friend of mine has had his salary cut by a certain percentage. It's a huge hit. It's a huge, it's a tough pill to swallow. But I think that this is giving people the opportunity now to figure it is what it is that they want and how they could make the world a better place and how they can follow through with it. And now they don't have, there's no excuse. What's your excuse? What's your excuse? So speaking of excuses, I started a few weeks ago my weight loss journey, and I think I did 2 videos and then I kind of fell off because I guess I wasn't ready to get serious. And since I had Avery, when I had her, I was 204 pounds, which is crazy because I'm only 5'1". It's crazy. But I gained a lot of weight. I was hungry all the time. It wasn't the kind of thing where I was craving, coconut custard pie and pizza. I just wanted to eat. Like, I was just hungry. So after I had her and I had the C-section, I couldn't do, they got to give you 6 weeks before you can go back to exercise. And then even after that, I was a little bit concerned with, I didn't want to go back crazy, like all of a sudden jump back into it. So, hey, mama. So I kind of, I mean, I've been walking, but I don't think walking is enough. Not for me, because I was so active before. I just don't think it's enough. So what I did was, I really started to, think to myself, what's holding you back? Like now, you have all the time in the world. You can't go anywhere. You can't meet up with friends. You're not going to work. Why aren't you doing this? And I had a lot of excuses. Hey. Um, I'm too heavy to run. I'll lose more weight once I start running, but if I don't lose more weight, then I'm afraid that I'm going to run. I'm going to hurt my joints. And it's a lot of excuses. So I was kind of fed up with myself last Saturday. I spent the entire day in front of the TV. I really didn't accomplish too much. And I said to myself, you're making excuses. There's no reason. I started to think about where I got the motivation from when I first started running, and every time after that I had taken a break. I originally started running because a good friend of mine wanted to join the police force, and she had to lose 40 pounds before they would even accept her to start the program. Like to start the program to be accepted in. So she was already getting rejected for her weight before she was even getting, starting to go through the steps. So she had to lose weight fast. So we started running. But I could always do it for somebody else, but I could never do anything for myself. Always. I've always been like that. It was important for her to lose the weight, so every morning I got up at 5:30 and I went out for a run with her. Anyhow, I fell in love with running. She never did. And she's like, I hated every minute of it. But anyhow, she became a cop. Life has moved on. And I've always loved running. And I've gone through, like times where I run a lot and other times where I'm not running much, but I really do enjoy it. So, I always hated the cold. So I used to take off winters. I used to run like from April through like October, and then once it started to get cold out, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'll do something inside. And then it might have been the winter of 2015. There was a winter relatively recently where it wasn't like it never really got below 30, so there was really no excuse. And I come to find out that once you're out for like 2 or 3 minutes, you start sweating no matter how cold it is out. And there are a lot of tricks of the trade. You can wear latex gloves underneath your gloves, which will keep your hands warm, and your hands will start to sweat. And because I hated when my fingers would get numb. But with the latex gloves, you never had that problem. Hey, what's going on here? What is going on here? So I used to say to myself, even if it was cold out, even if it was sort of flurrying, I would say, you know what? It's a half hour. Get up and go. It's a half hour. And I remember days where it literally, like I felt like my legs were like cement, like pillars, and it was so hard, but I just did it. So I got up Monday, and my goal was to get up in the morning first thing, like usual. Like this was my old routine was. Have coffee, put on my jogging clothes, and go out for a run. That's what I always did. But I'm much lazier these days, and it's hard for me to get motivated. I've also found that I've fallen back into my old habits of being a night owl. And I'm up until 1, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning because I don't have to set an alarm, which is a great feeling. And Avery is really good because she actually sleeps later than me. And you know who wakes me up? Yep, this guy. He's got to go out. 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, he'll wake me up, and then she'll get up shortly after, which is good because I can get him out while she's still sleeping. It works out really well. So anyway, so Monday I got up, and I guess we probably got out around 12, whatever time it was. And I said, you know what, I'm going out, and I'm not using the Fitbit, and I'm not using my Fitness Pal, and I don't care how many miles it is. I'm just going to make sure that I do a half hour. I don't care how slow I am. I don't care how many hills I take. I'm going to go out for a half hour. So Monday I went out and I left the complex. I don't usually leave the complex because the road out here is real busy and it can be dangerous. But when I got to the entrance, there was no cars coming, and I'm like, oh, I can run really fast to make it to the side street before cars come. And it's a pretty wide shoulder. So that was Monday, and I was huffing and puffing, and I was at certain points I thought maybe I was going to drop dead, but I'm like, you know what? I just remembered what I used to say. So you can slow down, you just can't stop. I don't care how slow you're moving, just move, keep up this stride, and you will get there. And I was out for about almost 40 minutes with like a slow jog. So I'm like, okay, all right, that's day one. And then Tuesday, I stayed in the complex and I did 36 minutes. That's what I remember, 36 minutes. Because you know what, I must have done 35 minutes the first day. That's what I think it was. It was 35 minutes of jogging, but then I walked the rest. So I said, I just want to do 1 minute longer than I did yesterday. And then Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday, I think it was, I only did a half hour because I think it was starting to rain. I think that's what it was. And then Thursday, it was like a fine mist when I went out. So I said, you know what? I'll just do 20 minutes. Because at this point, it's about making it a habit, and it's about doing it. It's not about how long, how far, or how fast. It's about doing it, creating the habit. Once you've gone out running every day for the next 14 days, you don't want to miss a day. Because you're like, okay, I've done 14 days, I got it. So I'd already run 3 days, and I'm like, you know what? Even if I just do 20 minutes, after 20 minutes, the rain stopped. So I was able to finish a half hour. And then same thing today. I had gone out to walk Dylan, and I'm like, actually, I think it may have been snowing. I'm like, I think it's snowing. And and then I came back in, and it looked like it was snowing harder, but then it stopped. And I looked at the weather on my thing, and it said it's going to rain for 7 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? It's going to rain for 7 minutes. By the time I get out there, it'll be over with. And I did another 30 minutes today. And every muscle in my body hurts, but you know what? I did it. See, it comes to the point with me right now where it's like, what's your excuse? So if there's something right now that you want to do, what is your excuse? If you just got laid off, we'll figure out what it is that you want to do to make money. What's your excuse? You don't have an excuse. There are no excuses now. So figure out what it is you want, how you're going to get there, and just do it. All right. I think that's about it. Feel free to comment below, and I will see you guys live soon. I think I got to feed her or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.